New Caney, Texas is about 30 miles north of Houston, Texas along US 59 and Interstate Highway 69, known locally as the East Tex Freeway. A lot of us old-timers know it as a Dairy Queen freeway because every little town had a red light and a Dairy Queen next to it, including New Caney back in the old days. We're at the New Caney Courthouse today, which is in New Caney, Texas, Interstate Highway 69, US 59. We're at the East Montgomery County Courthouse between 1485 and the Graham Parkway. The marker that we're looking at today is the New Caney, Texas marker. Permanent settlement in what is now New Caney began in the 1860s. The area was first called Presswood for the pioneer family of Austin and Sarah Waters Presswood. The Presswoods came to Texas in 1862, purchased land in the area, and raised cattle on the open ranges. The family of John Wesley Robinson, 1819 through 1903, also settled in this area here in the 1860s and began farming, cattle raising, and cotton gin operations. When the Houston East and West Texas Railway line was laid through Montgomery County in the 1870s, the community became a shipping point for livestock and was then known for many years as Caney Station, and named for the dense cane brakes growing along nearby creeks. In 1882, when the post office was established, the name New Caney was adopted. Early industries in New Caney were confined chiefly to those that were necessary to carry on farming and cattle raising. As the timber industry began to flourish, however, mining props used to support the earth along the side and roof of mining tunnels were shipped out of New Caney. The settlement and early history of New Caney are important reminders of the rich heritage of this part of East Texas and Montgomery County. 1984. Well, I grew up in this area a little bit, and it has grown up in the last 50 years. It has become a much more settled area. Let's take a look around and see what all's in New Caney now. Okay, this is the railroad tracks that the historical marker was talking about right here, that were established in the 1870s. And you can see the concrete here. This used to be the water, I guess, the water tank. And then right here, this concrete and this old cedar tree right here, area here, this used to be the train station in New Caney. It is long since been gone. I know the preacher that preaches here, and he'd let me metal detect here a little bit before, and this had the old square nails in here. It's something we don't see that much around my part of the woods. We don't have stuff that's that old anymore. But I had like the square nails, found some old Indian pennies and stuff like that in here when we were metal detecting. But that was metal detecting with permission to be on the property. I haven't talked to the church people today, so I'm staying on the road. I'm not getting off on their property or trespassing. But this is where the old train station in New Caney used to be, the original one from back in the 1800s sometime. I want to dispute the historical marker a little bit. This has always been timber. This is really heavy piney woods here, and back in the 1880s the railroads across the US, they really took off. And this right here, all the piney woods here, you can still see some of the remains of the trees and stuff here, all became good for making the railroad ties. So there were like lots of little sawmills. There ended up being a sawmill here. There was like one in Fostoria. There was one in Splendora. There was one in Cleveland that sprang up all along these tracks to make railroad ties. And you got to remember, back in the 1880s, that was before Henry Ford came along. So that was a major way of transport through the country, was by trains and stuff. So each one of these little towns, each one of these little sawmill towns had their own sawmill there. And then the company that run the town, they'd have like a little hotel. I'm sure there was like a little hotel somewhere around here. I don't know exactly where it would have been at, but it would have been really close to the train station, where they'd have a little sawmill town. The company would own the sawmill town, and then they would pay all the employees in script that they would spend at the sawmill store there. So that's just kind of interesting stuff. We'll go over and take a look and see what New Caney has turned into today. When I was growing up here 50-something years ago, actually I grew up in Grangeland about 10 miles away from here. But when I was growing up, this might have had 200 or 300 people in it now. Now it has probably 15,000, 20,000 people in the area. Okay, let's go look and see what New Caney's turned into today. Sorry about the road noise, but this is kind of like the downtown center part of New Caney now. This is Farm to Market Road 1485 at US 59 or Interstate Highway 69. And this is what New Caney has turned into. There's a Walmart right over there, and you know you're in the big time in the real world when you got a Walmart. There is the old Ada Casey School right over here. Just a couple miles down the road's a newer shopping center at Grand Parkway and 59 that has a bunch of chain restaurants, and probably has 40-50 restaurants or businesses right there in the strip shopping centers and stuff. But it's grown up a lot. It's not like what it used to be. Anyway, I'm glad y'all stuck along this far. I appreciate you watching the video. Y'all have a great day.